Hello everyone and welcome to this video channel. Today let's continue chapter number 8, Class-VIII Science Cell. Chapter number 8, Cell Structure and Function. In the previous video class, we studied the beginning part of this chapter number 8, Cell Structure and Functions. So today let's continue this same chapter from textbook page number 118, cell structure and function. From this, let's see. We have already learned cell. It is a basic structural and functional unit of life. And today, let's continue from cell structure and function. First, let's try to read this thing. You have learned that each living organism has many organs. You have studied in class 7 about the digestive organs, which together constitute the digestive system. Each organ in the system performs different functions, such as digestion, assimilation, and absorption. Similarly, different organs of a plant perform specific or specialized functions. For example, roots help in the absorption of water and minerals in the case of the plants. And leaves, as you have learned in class 7, are responsible for synthesis of food. Each organ is further made up of smaller parts called tissues. A tissue is a group of similar cells performing a specific function. So, from this point, let's see. We have already learned that each living organism has many organs. So, organs are developed from the cells. Cells are organized and form organs, and organs are organized and form organ system, and organ systems are organized and form an organism. Likewise, you have studied in class 7 about the digestive organs, which together constitute the digestive system. So in the digestive system, several organs are there like that. Each organ in the system performs different functions, such as digestion, assimilation, and absorption. So in the digestive system, so many organs are there. Say in the digestive system, it starts from mouth to anus. So stomach is one organ, then small intestine, large intestine, and so many organs are there. So each organs perform different functions. Likewise, similarly, different organs of a plant perform specific or specialized functions. In the case of the plant also, different organs of a plant perform different functions or specialized functions. Say for example, roots help in the absorption of water and minerals, and whereas leaves, as we have learned in class 7, leaves are responsible for synthesis of food. Say during the daytime, when sunlight is available, green leaves of the plants, they manufacture their own food. And roots absorb water and minerals from the soil. So different parts of the plant, they perform different functions. Let's continue. Each organ is further made up of smaller parts called tissues. So each organ is further made up of smaller parts called tissues. So tissues are organized to and make organs. So a tissue is a group of similar cells and performing a specific function. So what are tissues? Tissues are nothing. They are the group of similar cells and they perform a specific function. Here, पहले realize that An organ is made up of tissues, which in turn are made up of cells. The cell in a living organism is the basic structural unit. Here, what it says, पहले a girl realized that an organ is made up of tissues, and which in turn are made up of cells. So cells are organized and make tissues, and tissues are organized and make an organ. So the cell in a living organism is the basic structural unit. So cell is the basic structural unit in a living organism. Parts of the cell. Let's try to understand the different components, the different parts of the cell. The first part, let's study cell membrane. Cell membrane is one part of the cell. So cell membrane, it is also known as plasma membrane. So let's see, the basic components of a cell are cell membrane, so cytoplasm and nucleus. Figure number 8.7, it is shown in different components of the cell are shown in the next place. Let's see. So the basic components of a cell are the cell membrane. Cell membrane is also known as plasma membrane, and cytoplasm and nucleus. They are the basic components of a cell. The cytoplasm and nucleus are enclosed within the cell membrane. So cytoplasm and nucleus are enclosed within the cell membrane and also called the plasma membrane. Here it is also mentioned, cell membrane is also known as plasma membrane. The membrane separates cells from one another and also the cell from the surrounding medium. So the cell membrane, it separates cells from one another and also the cell from the surrounding medium. So a cell is separated by its cell membrane or plasma membrane from the surrounding medium. So the plasma membrane is porous and allows the movement of substances or materials. So here the plasma membrane is a porous and allows the movement of substances or materials, both inward and outward. So plasma membrane, it is porous material, and plasma membrane separates the contents of the cell from its external environment, and it is present in cells of plants, animals, and microorganisms, and it controls the movement of some materials in and out of the cell. Here, activity 8.3, let's see. In order to observe the basic components of the cell, take an onion bulb, remove the dry coverings, that is peels. You can easily separate these from the fleshy white layers of the bulb with the help of forceps or even with your hand. You can also break the onion bulb and separate out thin layers and place a small piece of the thin onion peel in a drop of water on a glass slide. The thin layer can be cut into smaller pieces with the help of a blade or forceps. Add a drop of methylene blue solution to the layer and place a cover slip on it. While placing the cover slip, ensure that there are no air bubbles under the cover slip, and observe the slide under the microscope. Draw and label. You may compare it with figure 8.5. Figure 8.5, it is shown after observation in a microscope, the peel of the onion you can see. You know, onion, it is one of the very common vegetable every day we use to eat. And the scientific name of onion is Allium cepa. Allium, Allium cepa, CEPA, Allium cepa. So cells observed in an onion peel, you can see like this. And this is the nucleus, and this is the cytoplasm. So cytoplasm is the region in a cell where it is the region between nucleus and cell plasma membrane. So here, this is the activity. We have to do this activity, say how we have to take the pink covering peels. We have to remove the pink covering peels of the onion, and we have to layers of the bulb with the help of a forceps, or even with our hand we can take the bulb of the onion, and we can also break the onion bulb and separate out thin layers. We have to take out the thin layers and place a small piece of the thin onion peel, small thin onion peel in a glass slide. You know, glass slide, when you observe, when you are in a laboratory, you can see glass slide is nothing, it is rectangular glass, and above it we have to place thin onion peel in a drop of water, and above it the thin layer can be cut into smaller pieces with the help of a blade or forceps. Then we can add, say, a drop of methylene blue solution. Methylene blue solution is commonly used stain or dye in the laboratory. Why we use methylene blue? Methylene blue, when we put in the say onion bulb, thin onion bulb, then it will color. Then when we try to observe in a microscope, then the different parts we can see distinctly. Then after adding a drop of methylene blue solution to the layer, and we have to place a cover slip. Cover slip is nothing, it is a glass, piece of glass, and we have to cover above it, and we have to ensure that when we put the cover slip, there should not be any air bubble inside the cover slip. If air bubble is there, then we cannot observe the distinct parts of the cell. So we have to carefully cover the cover slip, and after that we have to observe the slide under the microscope, and we can see this structure of the onion: nucleus, cell wall, and cytoplasm. Okay, next let's continue. The boundary of the onion cell is the cell membrane. This is the cell membrane. This boundary is the cell membrane, covered by another thick covering called the cell wall. So it is covered by thick covering that is called cell wall. So cell membrane is again covered by a thick covering that is called cell wall. Cell wall is there in plant cells, whereas it is absent in animal cell. The central dense round body in the center is called the nucleus. So this is the nucleus. The jelly-like substance between the nucleus and the cell membrane is called cytoplasm. So that jelly-like substance, here we can define cytoplasm as a region between the cell membrane and nucleus. So it is the cytoplasm. And I want to know why plant cells need cell wall. Here one question arises. I want to know why plant cells need cell wall. Okay, let's see. You have learned earlier that the cell membrane gives shape to the cell. In addition to the cell membrane, there is an outer thick layer in cells of plants called cell wall. This additional layer surrounding the cell membrane is required by plants for protection. Plant cells need protection against variations in temperature, high wind speed, atmospheric moisture, etc. They are exposed to these variations because they cannot move. Cells can be observed in the lip pill of Class-VIII, Elodia, or Rio. You can prepare a slide as in the case of onion. Here let's see. We have already learned in the earlier that cell membrane gives shape to the cell. Cell membrane gives the shape of the cell. So in addition to the cell membrane, there is an outer thick layer in cells of plant that is called cell wall. So cell membrane is again covered by cell wall. This cell wall is absent in case of the animal cell. So this additional layer, that is cell wall, surrounding the cell membrane is required by plants for protection. So plant cells need protection against variations in temperature, high wind speed, atmospheric moisture, etc. So here I want to know why plant cells need cell wall. So the answer is here. Plant cells need cell walls because plant cells protect variations in temperature, high wind speed, atmospheric moisture, etc. And they are exposed to these variations, and because they cannot move, so cells can be observed in the lip pill of Class-VIII, Elodia, or Rio. So you can prepare a slide as in the case of onion. So in the above activity, we have just learned about the making of the slide for onion. Here, पहले अक्स बुझो if he can also observe animal cells. So here is about what animal cells. Let's see. Activity 8.4. Take a clean toothpick or a matchstick with the tip broken. Scrape inside of your cheek without hurting it. Place it in a drop of water on a glass slide. Add a drop of iodine and place a cover slip over it. Alternatively, add 1 to 2 drops of methylene blue solution. Observe it under the microscope. You may notice several cells in the scrap material. Figure 8.6. You can identify the cell membrane, the cytoplasm, and the nucleus. A cell wall is absent in animal cells. So, as I already told you, cell wall is absent in animal cells. So here we have to take a clean toothpick or a matchstick with the help of with the tip broken. Say, scrape inside of your cheek without hurting it. So we have to place it in a drop of water on a glass slide. Toothpick, inside our mouth, from the cheek cells also. We have to take this toothpick and we have to put it in a drop of water on a glass slide, and we have to add 1 drop of iodine solution and place a cover slip over it. And alternatively, we have to add 1 to 2 drops of methylene blue solution. As you know, methylene blue solution is one of the stain used for staining purpose in the laboratory. And you may notice several cells in the scrap material. Then you can identify the cell membrane, the cytoplasm, and nucleus. So we have to observe and a cell wall is absent in animal cells. Next, let's continue. Next, page number 120. Here, human chick cell is shown here. Human chick cell from the above activity. Here, cell membrane is shown here, nuclear membrane is here, and inside the nuclear membrane, nucleus is there. And this region, the region between nucleus and cell membrane, this region is called cytoplasm, and this is the nucleus. So human chick cells, you have seen, it is animal cell. Next part of the cell, let's study. Next part of the cell, there is cytoplasm. Cytoplasm, let's see. It is the jelly-like substance present between the cell membrane and the nucleus. So cytoplasm, it is the jelly-like substance present between the cell membrane and the nucleus. Various other components or organelles of cells are present in the cytoplasm. So these are mitochondria, Golgi bodies, ribosomes, etc. You will learn about them in later classes. So in the cell cytoplasm, so many cell organelles are present. Say for example, mitochondria, it is known as powerhouse of the cell, Golgi bodies, ribosomes, lysosomes, etc. So these cell organelles are present in the cytoplasm. Next, nucleus. Let's see nucleus. It is an important component of the living cell. It is generally spherical and located in the center of the cell. It can be stained and seen easily with the help of a microscope. Nucleus is separated from the cytoplasm by a membrane called the nuclear membrane. This membrane is also porous and allows the movement of materials between the cytoplasm and the inside of the nucleus. So here we are discussing about the nucleus. So it is one important part of the cell, and it is generally spherical and located in the center of the cell, and it can be stained and seen easily with the help of a microscope. And nucleus is separated from the cytoplasm by a membrane that is called nuclear membrane. And it is also known as, nucleus is also known as the brain of the cell. Here in the nucleus, it contains chromosomes, and chromosome is visible clearly during the cell division as rod structure. Here, with a microscope of higher magnification, we can see a smaller spherical body in the nucleus. It is called the nucleolus. In addition, nucleus contains thread-like structures called chromosomes. So these carry genes. Chromosomes carry genes and help in inheritance or transfer of characters from the parents to the offspring. The chromosomes can be seen only when the cell divides. So chromosomes can be seen only when the cell divides. So chromosomes carry genes. Then what are genes? Genes are the segment of DNA that codes for amino acid sequence of a protein molecule. Then next part, let's see gene. Gene. Gene is a unit of inheritance in living organisms. It controls the transfer of a hereditary characteristic from parents to offspring. So genes are the unit of inheritance in living organisms. It controls the transfer of hereditary characteristics from parents to offspring. Or on the other hand, we can say Genes are the unit of inheritance and it controls the transfer of characters from parents to offspring. So this means that your parents pass some of their characteristics on to you. If your father has brown eyes, you may also have brown eyes. If your mother has curly hair, you might also end up having curly hair. However, the different combination of genes from parents result in different characteristics. So, genes take part in the control of transfer of characters from parents to offspring. So, we can define genes as the segment of DNA that codes for amino acid sequence of a protein molecule. Here, nucleus, in addition to its role in inheritance, acts as control center of the activities of the cell. The entire content of a living cell is known as protoplasm. So, here nucleus, in addition to its role in the inheritance, nucleus acts as control center of the activities of the cell. So, it is also known as the brain of the cell, nucleus. And the entire content of a living cell is known as the protoplasm. So, the entire content of the cell is known as the protoplasm. So, it includes the cytoplasm and the nucleus. So, protoplasm is called the living substance of the cell. So, protoplasm is called the living substance of the cell. Here, Pahle wants to know if the structure of the nucleus is the same in cells of plants, animals, and bacteria. So, Pahle wants to know if the structure of the nucleus is the same in cells of plants, animals, and bacteria. Let's see. The nucleus of the bacterial cell is not well organized like the cells of multicellular organisms. There is no nuclear membrane. The cells having nuclear material without nuclear membrane are termed prokaryotic cells. So here we will meet two terms. They are prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. Here the organisms with these kinds of cells are called prokaryotes. So pro means primitive and karyon means nucleus. So examples are bacteria and blue-green algae. So bacteria and blue-green algae, they are the prokaryotic type of cells. The cells like onion cells and cells of human having well-organized nucleus with a nuclear membrane are designated as eukaryotic cells. So all organisms other than bacteria and blue-green algae are called eukaryotes. Eu means true and karyon means nucleus. So here we come across two terms, that is prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. So in prokaryotic cells there is no true nucleus. A nucleus is not separated from the cytoplasm by a nuclear membrane. Whereas in the eukaryotic cells, true nucleus is present and nuclear membrane separates from the cytoplasm. So these are the difference between prokaryotic type of cell and eukaryotic type of cell. Now let's continue. In the prokaryotic type of cell and eukaryotic type of cells, say nuclear region is not well defined in prokaryotic cell, whereas in the eukaryotic cell, nuclear region is well defined and surrounded by a nuclear membrane. And in the prokaryotic cell, it has a single chromosome, whereas in eukaryotic cell, it has more than one chromosome. And membrane-bound cell organelles are absent in the prokaryotic cell, whereas in the eukaryotic cell, membrane-bound cell organelles like mitochondria, chloroplasts, Golgi bodies, etc. are present. Now let's continue this next page. While observing the onion cells under the microscope, did you notice any blank-looking structures in the cytoplasm? It is called vacuole. So it could be single and big as in an onion cell. Chick cells have smaller vacuoles. Chick cells have smaller vacuoles. Large vacuoles are common in plant cells. Vacuoles in animal cells are much smaller. So here is what about the vacuoles are present in the plant cell, whereas vacuoles are present in the animal cell. If present, then they will be very small. You might have noticed several small color bodies in the cytoplasm of the cells of, say, Tradescantia leaf. They are scattered in the cytoplasm of the leaf cells. These are called plastids. Plastids. They are of different colors. Some of them contain green pigment called chlorophyll. Green color plastids are called chloroplasts. Green color plastids are called chloroplasts. Here, what about the chloroplasts? They provide green color to the leaves. You may recall that chlorophyll in the chloroplast of leaves is essential for photosynthesis. So chlorophyll, it is a green pigment. It is present in the chloroplast of leaves. So it is essential for photosynthesis. So chlorophyll are present in the chloroplast. And comparison of plant and animal cells. Plant and animal cells. Difference between plant and animal cells. Let's see. If you recall activities 8.3 and 8.4, you should be able to compare plant and animal cells. Observe the plant and animal cell carefully in figure 8.7. A, B. Let us develop the similarities and distinguishing features of plant and animal cells. Only a few features are mentioned. You may add more in table 8.1. So let's see distinction between plant cell and animal cell. So here is the picture, figure number 8.7. A, plant cell. This is the plant cell, and B, animal cell. Animal cell. In plant cell, say nucleus is located a little away from the center, whereas in the animal cell, nucleus, spherical structure nucleus is present at the middle of the cell. Here, cell wall are present in the plant cell, and cell wall are absent in the animal cell. And cell membrane are present, both plant and animal cell. And chloroplasts are present in the plant cell, whereas chloroplasts are absent in the animal cell. Cytoplasm are present in both plant and animal cell. So these distinguishing features are given here. Then we have to fill up this table. Comparison of plant cell and animal cell. Cell number 1, 2 up to 7 is given, and part cell membrane. Plant cell membrane is present. In the animal cell, cell membrane is present. Both are present. Cell membrane is present in both the plant cell and animal cell. Cell wall present in plant cell and animal cell. Nucleus present in plant cell and animal cell. Nuclear membrane present in both plant cell and animal cell. Cytoplasm present in both plant cell and animal cell. Plastids present in plant cell. Plastids present in plant cell, and in the animal cell plastids are not present. And vacuoles are present in the plant cell. Large vacuoles are present in the plant cell, whereas Vacuoles are present in the animal cell, but they are very small. They are very small. So plastids are present in the plant cell, whereas plastids are absent in the animal cell. Vacuoles are present in the plant cell. Large vacuoles are present in the plant cell, and vacuoles are present in animal cell also, but they are very small. So these are the comparison of plant cell and animal cell. With that, it comes to the end of this video class. In the next video class, let's meet again. For today, it comes to the end of this class. Bye.